of course, far too many people make the mistake of thinking it's a scripture of Hinduism, and that one would only study it either if one were Hindu or if one were studying comparative religions or something like that from an academic standpoint. And the Bhagavad Gita is actually, it's been described as a roadmap for life, which I think is actually really a beautiful description. I don't get credit for that. I've heard that someplace. But it's a really, really good description. But there's a piece of it that I think is really beautiful and worth spending a moment on. Bhagavad Gita is literally the song of the divine, or the song of God. Now, when most of us think of scripture, we think of like hard and fast rules and commandments and thou shalt this and thou shalt not that, and if you do what you shalt not do, you're going to burn in hell, and if you it's all of these instructions, rules, rewards, punishments, fear-based. And this is a song. It's a song. And the word isn't just used because the mantras sound so beautiful when they're chanted. But I think the meaning of it actually goes deeper than that. And I think that it has to do with that element of music in our life. Real music only flows. Whether you can carry a tune or not carry a tune. I'm not talking about the technique of music. But even for those of us who cannot carry a tune, music flows when you are surrendered to the divine, when you're in a place of openness. You think about singing in a group that's chanting kirtan. You think about singing in the Ganga Arati. You think about singing around a campfire. You think about singing in these places of spirit, places of community, places of love, where you're swept up in an openness of heart and a connection. And that's when music flows. And so I think a really important aspect about the Bhagavad Gita is that it gives us not rules and regulations that thou shalt follow, otherwise you're going to burn in hell. But here's a way for life to be music. Here's a way for the sound of the universe to flow through you. That sound that we speak about of Om as the sound of the universe, but it's got a tune to it. There's a musical element to it. It's not just a sound. And when we allow ourselves to live anchored in, grounded in, surrendered to that sound, that song of the universe, then music flows through our lives. Because one of the things that music requires is that you're not simultaneously thinking in your head, right? If you're a musician, which I am most definitely not, but if you are, I know just intuitively that if you are making music, but in your brain you're thinking C or D or this octave or that, and you're trying to figure out the notes, your technique might be very good, but real music won't flow. because you're too much in the head. You're too much in the technique. And so you can be a technician, but not an artist. Art is when it flows without the brain going, the next note is C. And it flows through you because the mind becomes quiet. And whatever you create, whether it's music, whether it's painting, whatever it may be, it only works when the mind becomes quiet. And so I think the Bhagavad Gita gives us ways for the mind to eventually become quiet, not dulled, not stupid, not turned off, but quiet from the games that it plays, so that music can flow through our lives.